Hi, it's Shonda, and today I get to interview a young gentleman that I'm really excited about having on the show today, who inspired me to begin this podcast by giving me the exact microphone we're using today as a gift on my 50th birthday. We're here. We finally made it, Stephen. Thank you for being my guest today.
Hello. Hi.
So, introduce yourself.
My name is Stephen Hector. I am 23 years old. My current occupation is a vehicle service technician. I live in College Station right now.
Okay, everyone. Stephen's my son.
Mhm.
So, I guess for all our guests, we'd like to ask, what's your definition of real food?
My definition of real food. So real food, what I think humans should be consuming in general is naturally, food that you can easily obtain, or you could obtain, yourself, depending on whether it's going to be grains or whether it's going to be, vegetables, whether it's going to be fruits, whether it's going to be, animal products, like by hunting or by gathering or by, doing several of those, what we used to do, how to get food. I think that's like what, real food is, and, just the way that you prepare it. Real food is, for lack of a better term, unprocessed, or, food that hasn't been, altered, or, in any way.
I must say that as Stephen's mom, I was quite impressed with what he had collected over the years as I was learning what real food is, because I had to learn myself. I had to define that for myself. And that is where the term real food and drinks came from. It was just like a philosophy I adopted or practice that I had to adopt when choosing the food that I would eat. And along the way, I just discovered that in order to get real food in a way that was the most natural, I had to shop mostly in the produce section. Now, over the years, this all began about 10 years ago, and over the years, I have come to the conclusion that for me, living a whole food, plant based lifestyle is what's best for me. It's what energizes me, and I know that I'm getting those vital nutrients from food and not filling up on fat or lots of protein from eating animal foods. My body just responded so quickly to whole food, plant based lifestyle, and that's what I have finally adopted. And that is why, if you visit realfoodanddrinks.com, you will find that there are no longer any more recipes that contain meat, because I feel like at this point I don't have to convince you to create a meal around eating meat. If you still desire to eat meat, you can put your meat to the side in addition to all the plant-based recipes that are on the website, because the plant-based recipes are what's going to give you the missing nutrients that you may or are likely to be missing from your diet. So I just wanted to flood the website with whole food, plant-based eating in order to inspire you. I have created a resource page. I'm not a practicing nutritionist. I'm just a real food coach. I want to coach you on how to eat real food. But on that resource page, there are links to doctors and research institutions where you can go and find the evidence of including more plant-based foods in your diet in order to heal your body. So I encourage you to go to the Real Food and Drinks website and start taking a look around and learning. And I do some videos every now and then too. They'll be posted at the website. And I just want to encourage you to really truly learn more about real food and what we can do to help our bodies heal and thrive and just be full of energy and life. And one last thing I want to add here is that if you do choose to eat animal products, I hope that you will look a little deeper into where those animal products are coming from. If you're not, like my son said, if you're not hunting yourself or raising your own animals, let's say that, if you're not raising your own animals and you don't know what those animals are eating, I encourage you to go look at farmers markets and try to find a farmer that's raising animal products in a way that is best for your body. So that would be grass-fed, pasture-raised animals. So let's get back to the conversation. So now that you have this knowledge, how often do you apply this knowledge to your lifestyle?
It's been varying, since I've moved out. Working full time, a lot of people don't have time to prepare themselves real food. A lot of people, including me, when I live, work or live outside of the house, I purchase a lot of fast food, things that have been altered and stuff. And it has, reduced my health slightly. I mean, I eat enough junk food to make myself obese or make myself sick, but my metabolism, I guess, is high enough to, burn all these calories or, process this food. But, it's not nutrition, it's just calories that I'm taking in at this point. Real food will fill you up, both satisfy the caloric, want that your body needs, but also will help you build, other parts of your body.
Okay, since Stephen seemed to be on a roll, meaning that he was saying things that I would normally say, so I'm just going to let him keep talking. Although I wasn't too happy to hear that my son's diet is poor and he knows it. Let's continue with the conversation.
So technically I'd be considered underweight. But I still use these same guidelines on the things that I do try to consume. If I do consume, a lot of these fast foods, I'll try to make sure I at least have it balanced out to where I have at least some type of vegetable or at least some type of, fruit on the side or whatever, even though that's not ideal. You ideally want to be filling most of your diet up with the real foods, and then those, junk foods and stuff like that can just be a snack. It needs to be very small portion, kind of like a treat. It's just, as long as you can consume mostly real food, even though the goal is eating only, real food, if you can, that balance needs to be very biased towards real food. Because if you think about it, this goes back to the old saying that, you are what you eat, and your body literally is having to replace itself with whatever you consume. Anything that you consume, as far as right now I could probably be made a whole bunch of bread and chicken nuggets and.
Oh my goodness, I hope not. But in reality, that is the truth, that we have a lot of people who are eating fast foods. It's very popular in the young adults and probably more than that, older adults too, because of convenience, like we talked about earlier. My son also mentioned about eating balanced with real food. And yes, the goal is to eat more real food. We all have to start somewhere. We all have to start implementing the idea that we need to eat more real food than the other stuff, that we're eating that we know that's not good for us. But sometimes it does come to a point when we, especially as we get older, right now my son's younger, so he has a little bit more flexibility and time, and most young adults do, and some don't, because we still are hearing that, young adults are getting diagnosed with diabetes and high blood pressure and, things like that. So it really is an individual thing. But the real goal and the real hope of mine is that young people will realize that they could start building a better, healthier life for themselves now, and that they won't have to run into a brick wall like I did at the age of 30 after the birth of my third child. I hope this is encouraging to you who are listening right now, and let's get back to the conversation.
Again, your body is using several different types of ways to synthesize these proteins and all the other carbohydrates and things that we need to build our bodies, but we struggle a lot when you eat junk food.
Just today I was listening to the Food Revolution, I was reminded, like the body's constantly trying to replace, its cells. And they said stomach cells, get replaced like every 5 days, the skin every 7 days, your red blood cells 4 months, liver 5 months, and then there's some other things in between there,
Your
and your
brain
bones are 10 years. You know what the brain is?
Brain is, I think it's 7 years.
Brain tissue. Wow.
Your neurons will last about 7 years before they're replaced. And all that has to come into factor. Like, I mean, your teeth and bones, stuff like that. If you, like, one thing that we, strive to get out of our diet, even though it's probably part of something we should eat, is some of the dirt and some of the things that we get from just eating not very sanitized food, but I guess you could say, still clean, like we'd clean it, but you still get some of those trace minerals and stuff, and a lot of those things you can't get out of some of the sterile food we eat.
Yeah, I agree totally, and that's why one of the things I know I was just doing research on vitamin K2 today, because you're supposed to take that with your vitamin D, which is the sun, and vitamin K2 can be obtained through fermented foods. And I used to ferment a lot of foods. Now I need to get back to fermenting foods. I have my favorite recipe that is really delicious. Even people who haven't had sauerkraut before, I call it sauerkraut because it's mostly cabbage. But they really like this one, because it's a little sweet. The one with the pineapple and the purple cabbage, cilantro, yeah. So I'm about to make a batch of that. But it is true that dirt is good for you. There's
to
a couple,
certain extent.
Yes, it is.
Minerals,
but we're talking about clean dirt. There is a such thing as clean dirt.
Just the minerals in it, the sediment and stuff that
I eat my dirt. My Terramin clay. I do ingest clay. It's a cleaner clay, and it's by Terramin. So I do that too, but I'm still reminded about when you go out into the garden, you don't only just get microbes from things that you eat, but from things that you breathe. You breathe those microbes in the dirt when you're, stirring the dirt and mixing it up or watering it or planting new plants and seeds and things like that. And I recall Mama Mill. She tells me this story about how her younger brother was a sickly child. The doctor told the parents, put the child outside and let him play in the dirt. And so there's a lot to say for, fresh air. That's what it's all about. Fresh air, fresh dirt. Personally, I recall feeling super healthy for one time when I actually tended a garden that we had in our backyard. And this is something that I intend to do again this fall. It had to be being out in the dirt, touching the dirt, breathing the dirt, eating the fresh foods directly from the garden. And I cannot help but to interject right here about grounding and earthing. Grounding and earthing is something that I've come to realize that was missing in my life. And I guess I was getting it when I was gardening. But recently I've been reintroduced to it. And I want to encourage you, if you haven't seen that on the website yet about grounding and earthing, there is an article there. And it's just all about the lifestyle. So go check it out. Let's get back to the conversation. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about real food and drinks lifestyle. So we're not just talking about food. Food is a big part of it, but we also want to talk about the lifestyle, all the other things we need to do in addition to being concerned about what we're eating. Okay, so is there anything else you want to let our community know, or anything else on your mind?
It's just real important, y'all, to really understand, you can feel much better, consuming the correct amount of foods, or the correct foods, because food's not supposed to make you feel bad, after you eat it. A lot of people get tired and sleepy and stuff like that, which, some of us like to be able to get full and just go to bed, so that's how some people like to live, their lives and stuff, but food is supposed to be fuel. It's supposed to be fuel, and it's supposed to keep you alive and keep going.
So this has been good, and I was just going to jokingly ask Stephen, did you give me this microphone so that I would have other people to talk to and not keep drilling it down all of you?
Kind of that too. I mean, like it's something that needs to be talked about in general. There's a lot of, people that are coming up, like you, that have something real to say, and a lot of popular media and stuff won't cover it because it's not necessarily profitable, or it's not a popular opinion, and like it takes bravery to expose them the truth sometimes. And like that's kind of why I got you this microphone, and so that the truth can be unleashed and told to people, or at least what we think is truth,
Yeah, sharing our truth,
like,
right.
And that's the only thing that you can really vouch for in life. You can't, you can say all the things you find on like other, like on media, or like, Wikipedia or anything like that. You can only 100% vouch for your personal experiences.
Right.
That's about it. Like everything else is.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. We're here to explore other things and other ideas from other people and allow them to share their experiences too, and to share our experiences and what has worked for us, and and to just keep looking and keep learning.
And the more people that you interview, and the more people that would like to come on here and share their story, but in both ways, people need to, would like to step up and like, say what their opinion is, and like you'd be able to interview them and talk to them about like why they feel this way, or what the evidence supporting why they decide to eat or live their life a certain way. And that's what's important, is that we have the long discussion about it, and not just making sides and causing conflict. Like, let's talk about it. Let's get the facts out there.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, that's been really good. I want to thank you for coming on the show today, the Real Food and Drinks Lifestyle podcast show. And thanks for your inspiration and getting this started. I just say thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad to be on here. Maybe I'll come back another time and I'll be, eating real food.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do about that. So thanks for joining us today. So there we have it. I really was excited that we finally had the opportunity to sit down and have a discussion. And I think he recognizes something more than I did, is that we really do need to sit down and have real conversations about real food. So I'm willing to do that with anyone who would like to have a conversation about it. I'm always ready to have a conversation about real food and discuss ways that we can help one another adopt a healthier lifestyle. So I'm looking forward to the future of this podcast. And once again, I want to send a shout out to Stephen. Stephen, thank you so much. And I will see you all soon. We hope you enjoyed watching today's video of our podcast. A link to the show notes can be found below this video. Also, please subscribe so you won't miss any future videos. And be sure to comment below and let us know what you think about this format. Until next time, let's just be real.